Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources, and yeah, they did it. Rise of the Eldrazi is back, and that of course is one of my favorite formats to draft, and let's see what we got here. What does this one do again? Pumps all your guys. Yeah, that one's okay. That guy's pretty good. Kabir Vindicator. Our rare sucks. ETB's tapped, doesn't untap. You got to target it with a spell to untap it. Otherwise, it's ridiculous. 5/5 flying for 3, but not consistent enough, unfortunately. So the cards that we're going to look at here are Nest Invader, Growth Spasm, and Vendetta, I think are the best cards in the pack. Curse of Wizardry doesn't do anything. Surreal Memoir is cool, like Laux loves that card, but it really does require going very hard in that direction. I just don't really see the need to. Battle Rampart, of course, is a card I have my eye on just because I love that kind of deck. So it's between these two. I'm going to take the Nest Invader here. I think it's a little better. And I think we can kind of maybe try to go deep here with, making big stuff, which is sort of a Rise of the Eldrazi staple. Boar Umbra can be quite good. Not normally my style, but it really can get a lot of work done. So that's a card we're going to consider here. Reality Spasm, Ogre's Cleaver, both not very good. Lava Fume Invoker, Shaman. These are all fine. Spore Cap Spider's a guy. Would be better if he had Defender. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Basilisk, whatever. Guard Duty's fine. Narcolepsy, though, I think it's going to be our pick here. It's basically just unchecked removal in blue. It just taps down creatures. So, yeah, I like that. You got to be able to deal with the big boys. Speaking of the big boys, we have an Ulamog's Crusher. There's also a second Nest Invader, though. And unfortunately, they are the first and second best cards in the pack. Which order those go in? Hard to say. Crusher's very, very good, but probably just going to take a Nest Invader again here and kind of keep it simple. I mean, we're going to need something to ramp into, but being triple Rise means that you usually do find something. Like, it's not... That usually isn't the problem. It's the problem usually comes in more along the lines of getting the stuff that gets you there. And Nest Invader is a uniquely cool card in that it does help you ramp. It also keeps you alive long enough to get there. And if you need to beat down, sure, it's a bear. It'll hit. Really great Magic card. All right. What do we have? Another Narcolepsy, a Halimar Wave Watch, an Ondu Giant, and a Wildheart Invoker. So, wow, we have a lot of options here. This pack is just great. I mean, Knight of Cliff Claven's even quite nice here. Wildheart Invoker is a card we're not going to take now, but it absolutely can take over the game late. Most of the Invokers can do that. Wave Watch is really good, but I don't think it's as good as Narcolepsy, so we're going to take Narcolepsy or Ondu Giant. Ondu Giant, if you guys haven't seen this, look at that guy. You get a 2/4 and a Rampant Growth for 4 mana. Like, either way you break down the mana on that, you're getting a bargain on one end or the other. And to me, it's between those two. I'm going to take the Ondu Giant here, actually. I want to be able to splash around a little bit. This guy makes us do that. It means that our Narcolepsy can be a splash card, and we can move over into red if that opens up. Green-red is, I think most would consider it the best 2-color combo in Rise. You could make an argument for other, white-blue levelers is certainly powerful. Thanks. He's right. That is very nice of him. I don't know who this is, but thanks. Ooh. Yeah. I don't care. I do not care. Plus, there's actually just not that much great stuff in this pack anyway. So we're going to take Event Sentinel because I'm that guy. I will always be that guy. And if I can make this deck work, I will run it every single time. If I can't, I can accept that. I'm not the one that's going to just jam it through no matter what. So we don't have to worry quite about that. But beyond that, yeah, I'm playing it. Explosive Revelation is pretty good. Take a look at it. It's a lot to read, but basically the important part, the really important part is this last thing. Put the non-land card into your hand. So you draw a spell off it every single time, and then sometimes it kills something too. So it's clunky. It's 5 mana sorcery. We're not talking about, a premium card here, but it's a little better than it looks for sure. All right, here's a Battle Rampart, which I will take, especially because there's really nothing else for us here anyway. And we might be getting another Battle Rampart back. Now, what we haven't seen is Overgrown Battlement, and that's probably the most important card in a deck that's based around Vent Sentinel. The main reason for that I was just talking to my buddy Woody about this a minute ago because he said he had a deck with 3 or 4 of them, and I was just like, geez, he had like 1 Vent Sentinel, but oh god, yeah, another Narcolepsy too, but hell with it. Anyway, the main reason for that though is because it's a superior ramp spell, just a ridiculous ramp spell, and it lets you play a game that's not completely focused on Vent Sentinel. And that's nice. Like being able to just power out an Eldrazi and be like, here, beat this thing is really good. Not much here. Really not much for us at all. I'll just take this Goblin Tunneler, but I don't really even want to play it. Unfortunately, we did not wheel that other Battle Rampart, which I think is a little strange, but so it goes. Yeah, sure, take a 3-drop. None of these are really what we want. All right, an Arsonist or a Raid Bombardment. Bombardment's not going to work for us, so we're just going to take this Arsonist. It actually can stop a lot of really aggressive early starts and make things awkward for our opponent. Not a great card, but a pretty good one. If you can sacrifice it, it gets a lot better, of course. Hand or Guard Duty. These are actually both worth thinking about. I'm going to take Hand of Emrakul here, though. You can sacrifice 4 Eldrazi spawn instead of paying its mana cost. But even if you do, it's not an amazingly great card. It's a 7/7 Annihilator 1. I mean, look, if you get it down early, it does work. There's no doubt about it. But Annihilator 1, like the gap between Annihilator 1 and Annihilator 2 is huge. Like it's absolutely huge. If you're Annihilator 2ing them, it takes like 2 turns before they're just way up against it and have to find an answer like immediately. With Hand, it's not quite the case. Like if it's a later game play, they can kind of hang around for a long time. All right, what did we open? We opened some stuff. Okay. Ulamog's Crusher. That's a card that we'd like to have. Like it's a lot better than this. Brood Warden is fine if we're going to kind of be on the, Nest Invader and then maybe some Defenders type plan. Ogre Sentry is a card that we'd like for the deck but aren't going to play right now. Gouldraz Assassin, though, is our rare, and it's very, very good. Look at that card. It's even good as a splash, and I think I'm actually just going to take it here. I feel like we're going to get Ogre Sentry back. We probably won't get Crusher back, but it's... Oh, there's 2 Crushers in this pack. We might actually get one back. But Gouldraz Assassin on the splash is actually just quite good. So I'm going to take it. All right, this pick is very interesting. 2 amazing cards, Flame Slash and Domestication are the 2 cards that I'm looking at. Prophetic Prism also a card I'd like to have in the deck, but they're not nearly as powerful as these 2. So Flame Slash is kind of the obvious pick because it's red and we're in red anyway, so I'll probably just take it. But Domestication, you'll notice that this is an uncommon here. They don't print these at uncommon anymore. This was an attempt to nerf Mind Control, which costs 1 more colorless mana and just jacked any creature. And this one put a condition on it, made it a little bit cheaper, and it, of course, is also an uncommon. And it's clearly more powerful, but I'm going to take Flame Slash just because, I just don't necessarily need to move over into something else. All right, speaking of oh, God. Well, I had to interrupt myself because I was going to say, speaking of good removal, Stagger Shock's one of the best. It can kill 2 creatures. It can also tempo your opponent out because you can play it, kill one of their guys, and then they look at their hand and they're like, well, crap, I don't want to play another one because it'll just die anyway, so you can get a whole turn worth of mana. But I was talking about Overgrown Battlement before, and I got to take it here. I can't pass those. It's just not in my nature. I'm not strong enough. Oh. Well, look at this. It's like top 5 Magic cards ever for me, right here. And I think in a fit of weakness, I'm not going to be able to pass it. Now, there is a Spawn Sire, but 10 is a lot of mana. A lot of mana. It has cool abilities. It's huge. Again, though, Annihilator 1 really makes it so that on board it's not a dominating presence. It's like it gives you inevitability, but hell with it. I'm playing the cards I want to play, and that's Enclave Cryptologist here. All right, what have we? A lot of these going around, and that's going to get a little bit annoying for us. There really isn't much for us here. Lagak Lizard's like, whatever, he's fine, but you would rather just have these. They block better and just, of course, kill your opponent eventually. Yeah, there's just not much for us. I'm going to just take this Wall of Omens. If we can get a Prophetic Prism or two going, then we can just play all this stuff. If we can't, I'm going to have to narrow it down and either not play this or, whatever. We'll have to try to figure out what we want to do there. But Wall of Omens goes great in this deck. And it complements some other cards that are out there too. So out of a crappy pack, we'll take it. Goblin Tunneler, no. These are all in. Okay, what have we here? Well, so these reinforced bulwarks, we're going to need to start taking these at some point. But for the time being, Heat Ray's like a very good removal spell in this format, and we are going to have enough mana, hopefully, to fire it off. Get a Ness Invader down and then play another land or something, and you can actually get people. For those of you that haven't drafted a lot of Rise of the Eldrazi, it was one of the earlier sets that started doing what we see pretty commonly now, which is the removal in the set is somewhat nerfed. There's options. I'm not saying it's like the worst ever, but it's getting an instant speed removal spell like this that can just kill something is something you don't see that often in this set. So you take it when you can. Spawning Breath we already have one of. Oust is pretty decent, but whatever. I guess I could just take a Stomper Cub and just have a little bit more to ramp up into. I mean, sometimes you just slam one of these guys and they're just like, well, this isn't good for me. Rapacious One. Yes, Rapacious One. Really good creature to ramp into. Makes a 5/4 with trample. And whenever it hits, when any damage that it hits, you get that many 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens. And those tokens are really good. I mean, they add up quickly. They make guys like this a lot better. All right, so we wield two important cards here, a Raid Bombardment and an Ulamog's Crusher. I'm still... sorry, never mind. I thought that was a Battle Rampart. We wield one important card here, an Ulamog's Crusher, and we're just going to take it. I was going to take it anyway, but there it is. I'm going to hide this guy for now. Might not need him. None of these do much. They call this guy Fog Frog. But he's not very good. I'm going to take a Leaf Arrow for the sideboard here. All right. We kind of super wield an Ogre Sentry. There's also a Reinforced Bulwark, which can be pretty good, but I think Sentry's a little better here. It's just cheaper, easier to cast, easier to get going. So we're going to hide you for now. Spawning Breath, a little better out of the sideboard, generally speaking. All right. Mnemonic Wall came back too, though. I'm actually going to take Mnemonic Wall over Spawnsire here. I mean, if we end up splashing blue, Mnemonic Wall is the kind of thing I want. Sick. Yeah. Boosh. Basically last pick. I'll take it. It is looking like we're going to be moving over into blue as opposed to black or white. We didn't get any Prophetic Prisms back. That's not a surprise. It's a good card. But we wouldn't have minded them. This pack looks bad. You guys remember this card from Standard? You can make two huge things late in the game with it. Sometimes you just make two whatever things, but if you get up to turn 4 and you play this, you just make 2 4/4s, and sometimes the game just ends. Like, you just play your land, play something, play this, and just start attacking them. Drake Umbra, very, very powerful, pretty tough to beat as well. We might want to run it on one of our random Ness Invaders or something as a late game play. We unfortunately just didn't pick up anything there's nothing with Defender here that we can actually play. Like, this guy has Defender, but we're not playing it. He's really good, though. I actually like it quite a bit. In fact, we could consider it. I think I'm just going to take Devastating Summons here. Jotty Lifestrider can keep you alive for quite a bit as well. All right, so this is the first card that I saw. Is there anything that's going to compete for it? Yeah, there's a few things. World at War is interesting. you get to have multiple combat steps, but unfortunately for us, that's not going to fit into our deck because we are going to be kind of shields up in here, so no. The two cards that we are considering, though, are a Kozilek's Predator or a third Vent Sentinel. Predator's really good. Have you guys seen this thing? You get 2 of those spawn tokens and a 3/3 for 4. It's very, very good, and it can really help ramp out these guys. The question that we're facing here, because we'd rather have Vent Sentinel. Like if we let's say this is our last pick of the draft, we would take Vent Sentinel, but we could definitely wheel this. This is very early in the pack. There's going to be 6 cards left in this pack, and Vent Sentinel could totally be one. But if it's not, that's fine. But this is going to be gone for sure. Gotta take it. I just don't want to risk it. What do we have here? An Aura Gnarlid, another Domestication, dear Lord, and a Beastbreaker of Balaged, which offers a great opportunity to put your mana, a great place to put your mana. Beastbreaker is very, very, very strong. Seagate Oracle, Domestication, Guard Gomazoa, they're all totally fine. This guy has Defender and Flying, and he's just incredibly difficult to get rid of in the format. Like, he actually deserves a nod here. I might even just take him. Because it does look like we're going to be blue, so let's hide these things for now. And we get Narcolepsy, Enclave Cryptologist, and a Mnemonic Wall. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to take it. Hell with it. All right, here's a Raid Bombardment, a Nest Invader again, or another Rapacious one. Probably okay on ramp targets. We don't really need that much. Like, we don't need to play this guy if we don't want. How many defenders do we have right now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy's out. 6, 7, 8. We have 9. Yeah, we could definitely use to get that number up. I mean, it only gets better the higher we go with it. So I'm going to take this Raid Bombardment here. Why do I keep doing that? I just took a Raid Bombardment. I keep thinking it's Battle Rampart. Ugh. All right, so we're not going to play that. What did we get, though, on our next pick? So we have Prophetic Prism or Ogre Sentry. I can just imagine you guys like, wait, that's not what he thinks it is, and then I take it. Good God. Ogre Sentry or a Prism. Prism's not wheeling. Ogre Sentry probably will. I'm going to take the Prism on this one. Hey, look. It's a not Battle Rampart. I'm not going to take it this time. You guys can sit back. Be cool. Be cool. This one gets you 5 mana back, so you pay 7, you get 5, and you can block and do stuff with them. Not really that great, though. I could just cut this Grotag Siege Runner. It blows up our guys. There's nothing we really want here except for the Arsonist, which is just eh. So, yeah, I'll just cut a card. Like, there's just not much going on there for us. Akum Boulderfoot. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature player. It's a very weird card. It just pings them. This rare is not worth playing. Dread Drone's the best card in the pack. Sea Beyond, quite good as well. We could play Snake Umbra. You guys see the combo? Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent. Let's do it. All right, here's an Arsonist. I think I'm going to cut this, though, without really looking at the rest. Glory Seeker sucks. Gloom Hunter is fine. We don't really care about it too much. Yeah, let's take Distortion Strike. Have you seen this stupid card? Can't be blocked. Obviously, we are not super happy with the whole can't be blocked thing. Don't care about any of these cards, so we're just going to take... This one is cool, but it doesn't do anything to its power and toughness, so it's not quite worth it, even with Totem Armor. So we're just going to take a Spider Umbra here and probably just board it in if we need to. God, that's sick. This card's really good. I'm going to take it. I just don't want somebody to have it against me. It's just the best card in the pack. All right, what did we get back? Well, there's a Halimar Wave Watch, which is really, really good, but I don't know that we need to quite go that far on the splash. Like, we've already got 4 cards here, and that seems like plenty. Aura Gnarlid doesn't really do much for us, though, and Battle Rattle Shaman certainly isn't a card that we're that interested in, so I'm going to take the Halimar Wave Watch here. Okay, we did get it back, so that's sweet. And once again, not to be confused with this, which has kind of similar artwork, I suppose. They're both kind of fight scene-ish. All right, so we got a nice deck here. I don't think I'm going to run Devastating Summons. We got a Prism, so our blue should be pretty easy. We've got a Prism, an Island, and this guy. So we have 3 different sources for it. We've got some reasonable removal with Explosive Revelation, Heat Ray, Narcolepsy, and Flame Slash, I believe. Yeah, Flame Slash 2. So I think we're going to be okay here. Let's see what this thing looks like after we build it out. I don't know if I'm going to run this or not. It's still quite good. Like, some decks just can't deal with it, but some of them don't care about it, and that's very awkward when you sacrifice your whole board state. Don't think we're going to main deck Spawning Breath, but we might. Screw you, Raid Bombardment, tricking me. Narco Guard Gomazua. Let's see, probably not that guy, but this guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, this card's quite good. Like, there's a reasonable chance we actually end up just running it. Like, I'd rather have it than this, I think. Definitely rather have it than this. Giant. Yeah, so our green actually, interestingly, got kind of thin here. I mean, we have 5 green cards and 4 blue cards. So the thing, though, of course, is that our green is where we're going to get some of our fixing, like with this Ondu Giant. It's also important to have early green with Nest Invaders and Overgrown Battlement. So even though sheer number of cards wise we don't have as many, we're actually going to be running quite a few forests here. This is 22. We do need another playable. We're at 16 creatures. I could run this. I could run just like a random Spawning Breath. It's pretty good. Deals 1 damage to target creature or player. It hits some things that we actually care about. And then you get an 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. So it's just a little value spell. There's some decks, like, look at it against us. Like, it doesn't do anything, really. I guess it kills this or something, which is sweet. But, I mean, 1 target in the whole deck or something isn't good. But against other decks, like the blue-white Leveler deck, it actually kind of gets them quite nicely. Wall of Omens, I'd love to play more than anything, but no, we're not going to go for a 4th color here. We don't really have the fixing to support it. So I either need to put in another beefer or just something early like this again. I like our early game quite a bit. What do we want here? Maybe I'll just run this Arsonist. Yeah, that seems fine. Pseudo removal. All right, make sure this Lagak Lizard is in front of these Ray Bombardments, as I feel that they are taunting me. All right. 4. No, that's not going to work. 14, that's 18. Can I go down to 2? I think I can go down to 2. I think I can make my deck something like this. Although 7 red sources is... Yeah, that's actually fine. We only need 1 red, really. 2 islands, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 sources of blue for 5 cards, or for 4 cards. I think that's okay. None of these are particular. I mean, all of the, like, this is a late game play. This can be an early game play that must be dealt with, or it can just be a later game play. It's a little awkward, though, that it costs the blue mana to level up. So, like, we could probably only do it once per turn. Gargomazoa you want on turn 3, and then Mnemonic Wall you don't want till way later, because we can get back, what? Heat Ray, Explosive Revelation. I thought there was one other thing we can get back. Uh-oh, is there nothing else? Oh, Flame Slash. All of our important spells, basically. All right, let's submit this, and we have some definite wiggle room here for depending on our matchup. So we'll just start here, and then depending on our matchup, we'll tweak the deck. All right, see you guys in the first round.